biggest takeaway was play the game right now, don't fix the system.
Man, that might be the title of this one.
I've called some of those leads. They haven't really turned into much. So everything is kind of feels like it's slowed down quite a bit right now, and kind of feel like I'm in a funk from it, and I need some momentum back. The mountain of calls to make, I think, is intimidating, and it's hard to find where the right place to start is.
The few times I've told you that, but like, you're carrying so much weight, brother, let it go, man. Let it go. One of the most important things an entrepreneur can do is to protect their confidence. Because when you lack confidence, it withdraws from your certainty account. I want you to view your existing list and database as it was just gifted to you. Welcome back, my friends. I got Dan Wentzel in the house, and we got some work to do, and we got to roll up our sleeves here and dive in. And I want to set the groundwork for what you're about to hear, because inevitably, this is something Dan has heard me talk about. I have experienced numerous times. If you're listening to this, I promise you have experienced this. Whenever you set out to accomplish something, particularly something you've never done, even if you have done it and you are proficient in it and you've experienced a certain amount of success, inevitably you're going to be met with resistance. You're going to experience a certain level of friction that has you feeling like you're stuck in quicksand. And it's interesting to me because most of the time we know what we need to do, but we question it. It feeds the doubt. We lack confidence. As a result of not having confidence, we don't have a certain amount of certainty. Because we don't have certainty, we start to question if we even have clarity. You just kind of start to lose your way, right? Like, maybe you can relate to that. And I think if you think long and hard, you can probably identify with an experience, a season of life, a moment where you're like, yeah, I understand what Alex is saying. And with that being said, I wanna bring Dan's voice into this conversation, because one of the things that he shared with me earlier, he's like, and I'm paraphrasing, Dan, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were like, man, I'm feeling a little stuck. I'm feeling like I've lost momentum. Now, for context, Dan just had a baby girl. Like, what, 3 weeks ago, Dan?
Yep.
So about 3 weeks ago, Dan had a baby girl. And so with good reason. Like, I am glad that Dan has been intentional about being present, spending that time with his beautiful wife, his other daughter, his newborn. That's good. That's what we want. And with that, I think, and again, I don't want to like reveal too much, but what you shared with me, Dan, was like, I need to get my mojo back. Like, I need to like figure out what to do to start gaining more progress and momentum. And I don't know, maybe, do you feel like you've kind of hit a wall right now?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. All right. So look, I've said enough. People want to hear from you, dude. They don't want to hear from me. Like, you're the rock star here, dude. So, and by the way, I've been there too, man. So I feel like I can help you through this. And I want you listening to put yourself in Dan's shoes. Maybe you find yourself in Dan's shoes right now, and this can help you get unstuck. And for me, Dan, that is what I want you to do. Is we will figure out, you've heard me talk about in the Storage Wins community, like, hey, what was most useful, helpful, and insightful for you? And then what is your right next thing, RNT? And I want you listening to ask yourself at some point throughout this is, what is your right next thing? And I promise you that 9 out of 10 times, you know what that is. You're just overthinking because you can't see the forest from the trees from the forest. I never know which one it is, but you're in it, and it's easy for somebody outside to look at your situation and what you have going on and pinpoint the problem. And I think that's where coaching can be really, really valuable. So with that being said, Dan, walk us through. So the last 3 weeks, obviously you've been focused on family. Has business just kind of been put to the side and it just hasn't really, it's kind of been more of an afterthought? Like, give us a lay of the land, so to speak, as to how things have been the last 2 to 3 weeks in the storage business.
Yeah, I'd say it's been pretty much an afterthought. I've put in some time checking email to see if the attorney's reaching out to me for the deal I'm working to still get under contract. But it's really, my days haven't had a schedule to them around storage. It's just been, if I have an hour here or there, then I'll try to look at something, but I haven't been um, making offers. I haven't been underwriting deals, and the lead pipeline has sort of continued because my VA has continued to work and make cold calls and send me some leads. I've called some of those leads. They haven't really turned into much. So everything is kind of feels like it's slowed down quite a bit right now, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
kind of feel like I'm in a funk from it, and I need some
Yeah.
momentum back.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So you feel like you're kind of in quicksand. Maybe you're like, the wheels are stuck in mud and you're like, you're revving it up or you're trying to rev it up, but like, you're just, you're just treading water right now, essentially, is what I'm hearing, if I was going to summarize it. Before we dive into diagnosing the problem and the root cause of it, I think it's first important, and this is not going to surprise you that I'm going in this direction, because I think it's meant to be celebrated, and we should pause and acknowledge the fact that you just said, did you hear the big win in what you were sharing with me right now? Did you identify the win?
I think one win would be that the pipeline continues because the VA keeps calling.
Bingo. Now, 5 months ago or
Yeah.
4 months ago or 6 months ago, like, you didn't have that. Like, it was all you. And so you have now replaced yourself, and you have a person working a system that is generating leads pretty much on autopilot, whether you're working or not, sleeping or not. And so I think that that's meant to be celebrated, because that was missing from your business in the past. And I want to start to build confidence from that place. Why? Because if you were able to do that on the lead gen and acquisition side of the business, there is nothing stopping you from doing the same exact thing in the areas where right now it depends solely on Dan Wentzel. Okay. Now, I don't want to make assumptions, but is it that you don't know what your right next thing is? Or is it a lack of motivation, a lack of drive, desire? Like, I want to start to peel back the layers of the onion here to make sure that we're attacking the actual root problem.
Yeah. So the thing about momentum I found is it's like with working out. When I get out of a rhythm of working out, it's just so hard to get back into it. It's like I have to force myself to just do it, knowing after I do it, I'll feel so much better and it'll get the ball rolling for that. And it's like for storage, I feel like I know what I need to do, but I also feel like I've fallen so far behind on the calls I've wanted to make and keep in contact with the owners I was staying on top of, and the mountain of calls to make, I think, is intimidating, and it's hard to find where the right place to start is. And as I talk more with you about this, I feel like I know the answer, and it's going to be, doesn't matter, just start somewhere and keep going. And
to me, that is the biggest compliment a coaching client can give me, is when they know me well enough that I don't have to say a thing, and they literally coach themselves through the challenge. Like, if you're listening to this, like, on the podcast, or you're not watching us, like, I have a big grin on my face, because as Dan is talking, I'm just like, yep, I'm shaking my head, I'm nodding, I'm like, he's gonna get there on his own. He's gonna get there on his own. So you just said, I'm paraphrasing, but I feel like I know my right next thing, but I feel like I've fallen behind, and this mountain of leads is intimidating. And you kind of went on and on and on, right? So you tell me, dude, like, you arrived at the destination. Like, you don't, what am I here for, dude? You can host this podcast on your own, but like, what conclusion did you arrive at listening to yourself speak, or hearing yourself speak?
yeah, what got me there was, before we hopped on this podcast today, I just called one of the owners that I've been meaning to reach out to, and I had a great conversation with them. And I was like, man, that felt good. All right, I'm ready for the next one. And I'm realizing, like, it doesn't matter what the next one is, just pick another one and do it. And so,
Bingo.
yeah.
Okay, dude, I know you already at this point, right? Like we've had so many coaching calls, and so I can sense your body language. This is a breathing exercise, brother, right? And I know you always smile and laugh like the few times I've told you that, but like you're carrying so much weight, brother. Let it go, man. Let it go. Like don't worry about all the leads that are there. Yeah. Don't worry about it. How do you start a race? Wait a second. You ride bike, right? How many miles have you ridden in any one like given session?
I've done a handful of 100-mile rides.
Okay, so let's just say 100 miles. You've done a handful. By the way, that sounds so much more intimidating than picking up the phone to gain some progress, energy, and momentum on pursuing your first storage deal. You have ridden 500 miles 5 times in one shot. Like, in other words, you've done 5 100-mile rides. When you got on that bike, were you thinking to yourself, I'm so overwhelmed and intimidated by this because I need to go for 100 miles? I'm pretty certain you didn't. And by the way, if you did it anyway. And what'd you do, dude? Like, I don't know if the bike is in your garage or wherever it is, or you took it out of your car or off your truck, but like you put it down on the pavement, you sat on it, and you started pedaling. Right. And however many hours later, you've arrived 100 miles into the process, right? What is different about what you're pursuing here with self-storage? Like, how is that different from you getting on a bike and accomplishing riding 100 miles on 5 different occasions, which is insane to me, by the way, because I don't even think I've been 5 miles on a bike. I'm not kidding.
Thank you.
So you tell me, like, challenge me, like, feel free to have a debate with me here. But how is you getting back into storage and getting back into a rhythm and a groove and finding your cadence? How is this any different from what you've done when you've hopped on a bike?
I know you've mentioned before that it's going to be a messy process, and I feel like it's completely messy right now with the notes I have to call different owners that I've fallen behind on, and not knowing really. I have a lot of lists of facilities that I'm trying to keep track of, and getting lost among the different lists, and messy. I mean, it's just really messy, and I don't have a good system for other than Excel to like keep scrolling through the list, being like, okay, that one says I need to call it right now, so let me call it. Or that one says I was supposed to call it 3 weeks ago. And I know deals can get done with messy lists, and that's oftentimes the way people get started, if not every time the way somebody gets started. But that is surely the case. And I think knowing that it's that way is what makes it intimidating to get back.
Yeah. And look, do you know anybody that has bought a house before, but they didn't quite have all the money to remodel everything at once? So what did they do? It's like, okay, well, let's focus on the kitchen. And like the rest of the house needs some love. It needs to be updated or remodeled, but it's like they don't have the budget for it. So like, let's just focus on one aspect of the house. Have you ever seen that? Like people buy a house and they do it in stages. And so, dude, it's okay that right now you have a messy system and your follow-up, there's some things we can do to improve it, no doubt. And by the way, it's already, like, you've already made improvements from when we first started. It's a rehab. It's a work in progress. But right now, I don't want you to overly complicate this process with figuring out how to dial in the system. Right now, the most important thing, I have a mentor of mine that says, one of the most important things an entrepreneur can do is to protect their confidence. Because when you lack confidence, it withdraws from your certainty account. It starts to affect the clarity. You start to have self-doubt. You question the direction you're going. That self-doubt breeds just a lot of incongruency with how you operate. And so right now, the most important thing that I want you to get out of this call is a renewed sense of confidence, energy, And the way that we get there is by figuring out, forget about the system. Forget about the past due leads. Forget about it all. We are going to hit the reset button starting this moment. And we are not looking back, not even earlier this morning. We're going from this point forward and we're starting fresh. So this is all about a shift in perspective. I want you to view your existing list and database as it was just gifted to you, because it is no different. It was just gifted to you. And so, of course, you couldn't follow up with those leads in the past because you didn't have them. I literally just gave you this database. And so if I gave you a list, hypothetically speaking, Dan, if I gave you a list of 11,000 plus mom and pop storage owners, if that sounds familiar to you, if I were to give that to you, would you feel a sense of guilt, or would you be intimidated by the fact that it's like, oh man, like I haven't been following up with this list?
Right. Oh.
No, right? Well, why not?
Be a place to get started.
It's a place to get started. So I want you to view your existing list as the same thing. You know why? Because it is wasted energy looking back saying, damn, I was supposed to call that person 3 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, look at this deal that has just been sitting there and I haven't underwritten it. Or I didn't call. It's wasted energy. Now, I want to use that for sure as fuel to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm just suggesting that right now isn't the time to solve that problem. The time to solve that problem is a month from now. Maybe it's in Q1 or Q2, right? Or Q3 or 4, depending on when you're listening to this. But like, I don't want you to worry about that right now. Right now, I want to help you gain back clarity, confidence, start building momentum. And the way you do that is by just doing a mental reset. I'm going to date myself, brother. How old are you, Dan? I feel like I should know this. How old are you?
38.
38. Okay, so I don't quite think this is gonna like resonate with you, but like I've never been a gamer, right? Like I have a lot of friends that are gamers and stuff, and like I've just never really been into it. I think I stopped at like the second Nintendo. Like it was never my thing. I never even got into PlayStation or whatever. Yeah, I just never got into it, dude. It wasn't my thing. Like games has just never been my thing. But I distinctly remember being a kid playing Nintendo, like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and like all these games that I loved. And I remember sometimes a Nintendo system would crap out and I had to hit that gray reset button that had the little red letters. And sometimes that thing didn't work and I had to grab that game tape and I had to like, remember when we used to like have to blow on the backside of it?
Yep.
It was like this super weird system. And it got to the point where I had to like shove in the tape and I had to like press it down a certain way for it to work, right? Like I wasn't worried about fixing the system. I was worried about like, dude, what's my right next step? I want to play this game right now. I'm not going to like grab my screwdriver and unpack this thing and try to like figure out the electronics and the mechanics of this thing. I'll worry about that later. I just want to play the damn game right now. That's what I want you to do.
Yep.
I want you to have the mindset to play the game. So I want you to hit the reset button, blow on the back of the tape. I know it sounds funny and weird, but you get the analogy. And by the way, if you're like in your 20s or 30s and you're listening to me and like you have no idea what I'm talking about, jump on YouTube and just put in like the original Nintendo system. You know what I mean? All right. So I want to start to dial it back to you now, because the goal of this isn't to build a system. I can help you get there. Right. And by the way, you think about Charles in the Storage Wins community, who's got all that built out, and you know you can just tap into that. And there's so many resources that you have at your fingertips. Trust and have confidence that that will be there for you when you are ready for it. Right now, I want you to just mentally hit the reset button. I want you to view your existing database as a gift that has been given to you. And I want you to say, hey, the ones in the past, in fact, I don't even want you looking back there. That has nothing to do with you. Going forward, all you can do is your right next step. And the right next step is you have the list. So you got the L. Remember the LMAO framework? You got the list. What's the M, Dan?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Now you have to know. Stop it. Come on. Dan, I'm having you put on you some boxing gloves right now. Come on, we're gonna go at it virtually.
Oh,
The
man.
LMAO method. What's the back? Okay, I'm gonna guide you there. What is the if I had to say, if I asked you, Dan, what is the backbone of this business? What is it built on? You know, don't look at me like that and like, like pucker your lips and start shaking
I
your
don't
head.
know what the word is. I don't know what
Forget about the word. You tell me, what's the backbone? What are we? What are we doing right now?
relationships.
What are you in? Bingo. Okay, relationships. Yes, that's the right answer. Okay, the backbone of this business is built on relationships. How are relationships built?
Conversations.
Conversations. At the M is meaningful conversations.
There we go.
Right? Because conversations lead to
Conversions.
conversions. Conversions lead to what do we sign? What do we sign to get the deal done?
Contracts.
Conversations lead to conversions. Conversions lead to contracts. Contracts lead to
Time and financial freedom.
cash and cash flow.
Right.
Which gives us time and financial freedom.
Yeah.
Right? So the backbone of this business is built on relationships. Relationships, you get there by connecting. Humans are meant to connect. How do you connect? You establish dialogue, meaningful conversations. So the L is list building. The M is meaningful conversations. The A is
Analyzing deals.
analyzing deals. The fancy word is underwriting in our space. Basically analyzing the numbers. Trying to figure out what's a deal, what makes it a deal, what do the numbers tell us, what's the story? And what's the O?
Offers.
Offers is the bow that puts this whole thing together. Offers. If I had to simplify this thing, like strip out the rest of the noise. You have the list because it's been gifted to you. Your existing list and the one that was actually gifted to you inside the Storage Wins community. You know how to have meaningful conversations. You've made incredible leaps, bounds, and strides in that department. You've gained a lot of confidence. And so you know how to connect with people and build build relationships through meaningful conversations. Dude, if you don't have enough confidence in yourself underwriting right now, I don't know what will give it, because everybody in our community looks to you for help in underwriting. So much to the point where you lead weekly underwriting calls to help others. So I don't want to hear any noise or nonsense about you not feeling confident when it comes to underwriting. Now, do you tend to overthink things and not trust yourself? Yes, but that's another conversation. And then the O is making offers. So I want to start to wind this down and go back to the beginning of this episode. You said, I feel like I know what I need to do, but I'm getting overwhelmed because I'm intimidated by this list and all we need to do. Did we solve that problem?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. How so? I want to make sure you're not just telling me that, but I want to make sure you believe it in your core.
Just get started somewhere and then keep going with it. And it gets back to the basics of just making calls, reaching out to owners and having the conversations again. And then that will lead to underwriting and offers. And
that's it. That's it.
I think the biggest takeaway was play the game right now. Don't fix the system.
Man, that might be the title of this one. That's a good synopsis of this conversation. Play the game right now. Don't worry about fixing the system.
Yep.
100%. 100%. So for anybody listening, if you find yourself stuck, and maybe it's not even storage related, maybe it's in your health and fitness, right? Maybe you set a New Year's resolution on January 1st, I'm going to get to the gym, and that didn't happen. And then, okay, the second, the third, and who knows, we could be a couple months into the year, right? Or a couple weeks into the year. You still haven't gotten. What good does it serve you to beat yourself up because you didn't do what you said you were going to do? All you can do is your right next thing. And that is remember why you decided to do this in the first place. Recommit by hitting the reset button, and then figure out what is step one. Step one might be, let me activate the gym membership. Or step one might be, let me just get my sneakers out from the closet and put it by the door. Or step one might be picking up the phone and saying, hey, I need an accountability buddy. Could you meet me at the gym tomorrow? You can replace all of this, Dan, with in the storage, like reaching out to somebody in the storage wins community and saying, hey, let's hop on a call and let's hop on a conference call and let's call some sellers, right? We just had a new community member join and they did that very thing. Okay, so don't overthink it. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. You already know what to do next, but what isn't serving you is the feeling of guilt, shame, overwhelm, intimidation, all these emotions that aren't good or bad, but they are what you make them out to be. So I want you to release this weight you're carrying right now and saying, thank you, God, for giving me this gift in my wife and my 2 daughters, my health, the fact that I get to do this, I don't have to do this, and say, I'm just going to recommit. I'm going to hit the reset button. I'm going to blow on the back of the tape. I'm going to slide it in, and I'm going to power that thing on so I get to play the game now. I'm not going to worry about fixing the system. At least not right now.
Yeah, that was great.
So, all right. What was your, I think you just touched on it, but just to wrap up this conversation, what was most useful and or insightful for you? And again, if it's what you just shared, I think it's worth repeating. And then what are you committing to? What is your right next step?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway is, like I just mentioned a little bit ago, play the game right now. Don't worry about fixing the system, and that it's wasted energy to worry about it.
Yep.
So just focus on moving forward from here.
That's it.
And the next step will be finding a place to start on the spreadsheet, looking for calls to make.
And I don't want you wasting more than 60
seconds. And not overthink it.
Don't overthink it. Finding a place to start, that shouldn't take you more than 60 seconds. You know what's a good place to start? At the top. At the top. It's a good place to start.
Yeah.
I like to start at the top. All right? Start at the top. Seriously. I'm not like, I know I'm being like, kind of like, facetious and kind of like half joking, but I'm not joking. Like, I don't want you spending like even 60 seconds trying to figure out where to start. Start at the top. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. The top is just as good a place to start as the middle and the bottom. And so just make it easy and work your way down.
Yep.
Sound good?
Easy enough.
All right, man. Do you feel unstuck? Are you like, you might still be a little muddy and wet, but like, are we out of quicksand right now?
Having that conversation with the owner right before we jumped on here, really helped.
Of course it did, dude. Of course. It's the person that hasn't gotten to the gym, and they like, right. When I go to jiu-jitsu at 6 a.m, which I did, and I like, every time I walk in there, I'm like my body's going to go through it. Mentally, I'm going to go through it probably in some way, shape or form. But guess what? I'm gaining more skill. I'm gaining more confidence. I'm gaining more stamina. Like every time I train, I'm getting a little better. To the point where it's actually becoming fun now. And it wasn't fun for the first like 7-8 months. I was just getting like hammered every class, right? And so, but at the end of it, I always feel accomplished. Always. Every single time I'm like, man, I'm glad I did that. This is no different. Okay?
Yeah. I can relate.
All right, man. Yeah. All right, brother. You feel good? You feel ready to attack it?
I'm ready.
All right. One last thing I want to share with you. The time in which it takes you to take action and take that first right next step, the shorter that time window is, the quicker you can gain energy, progress, momentum, and get back on the bike. The longer that time gap, the wider the gap is between us hopping off this call/podcast and you actually making that first call, the harder it's going to be to gain that progress and momentum. So what I'm suggesting now directly is as soon as we get off here, short of like your daughter's at school waiting for you and like you have to, short of something crazy, pick up the phone now. I don't care where you start, who it is. Pick up the phone and dial those 10 digits. And if they don't pick up, you leave a voicemail and you go to the next one until you connect with someone. Because just like you felt when you hopped off that call right before we hopped on here, every time it's going to feed your momentum and it's going to, you're depositing into the progress account. All right, my man. Well, dude, this was easy. This was easy. This was fun and easy. And I give you credit, dude, because like you figured out, like you kind of like found your way there on your own. I just like sprinkled a little extra on top just to make it spicy. All right.
Yep. Appreciate it.
All right. You're good, man.
Yeah.
You're good. Play the game. Go play the game.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll catch you guys. Oh, make sure that you are subscribed, both on YouTube, on the podcast. And if I can help you in any way, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're not quite sure where to go and you know storage is something you want to do, I would encourage you to message me on any of the platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, maybe comment on YouTube. I'm pretty easy to find. You can also go to storagewins.com. So with that being said, have an amazing day, and I will connect with you on the next one.